9739. That's 800-913-9739.
Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle is a genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful, genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful. Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle he's so handsome, he's a genius.
You're now listening to the Rick Tittle Show. Good for you.
Thanks for that, and welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. Coming up in the next segment, we'll have writer Ian Saxine. Or maybe he says Saxon. It's S-A-X-I-N-E. I'll go with Saxine until I hear otherwise. It's called The Great Upheaval. It's about American history. What got upheaved? Heave-ho. Dude, I totally heaved last night, y'all. So, speaking of heaving last night, that was Pittsburgh Steelers fans, as this game was very tight as they hosted Houston in the final wild card round. Starting the fourth quarter, it was Texans 7 and Steelers 6. And that's when I come in. Just about every playoff game, I wait until the fourth quarter. There's no way I'm going to park my behind for 3 hours in front of a TV for two teams I don't care about. But I am interested. I am a fan of the game, and I do want to see when it's close. And it looked very close, and it could be Aaron Rodgers' last game. So I watched that fourth quarter, and maybe I was a bad luck charm for him because the wheels came off for the Steelers in that last quarter. And the Texans scored 23 points. The defense, we know they have the best defense, but you talk about a stifling defense. And scoring 2 touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers' last play of his career, I don't know if he's going to play again. We'll find out. He hasn't said yet. He needs to think about it. He needs to meditate or whatever, ayahuasca. The last play of his career is a horrendous pick 6, whereas he ran over to the sideline and kind of half-heartedly stood in front of the guy for half a second. And it reminded me exactly, the guy's name is Kalen Bullock, by the way, or as Joe Buck called him, Bullock. I think it's Bullock. But anyway, Dan Marino's last year in the NFL, he was bad. He was fat. He threw lots of picks. But, you know, I didn't blame him. He wanted to make sure he couldn't do it anymore. And I'll never forget, I don't know if it's on YouTube or something, but he threw a pick 6, and it was almost exactly the same thing. Dan Marino ran over to the sideline, and he chipped the guy. Chipping is something that tight ends do to outside linebackers and sometimes defensive ends, where you stiff arm a guy's shoulder pad. That's called a chip block. And basically, Dan Marino, I don't even want to call it a chip. He mostly just kind of tapped him on the shoulder. Aaron Rodgers just ran over and kind of went, never mind. And the disinterest, the flatness in the team, oof. You had the fumble return for 33 yards for a touchdown, and everybody was kind of waiting for the whistle, and it didn't blow because the play wasn't dead, and it shouldn't have gone. But think about the Texans, who were 5-2. They're looking good. They lost the game. They were 5-3. And they go, we're still in good shape. Yeah, you are. They've won 10 in a row. 10 in a row. The Steelers just managed a couple of first-half field goals by Chris Boswell, and that was it. And they lost at home on Monday night for the first time since 1991. And Mike Tomlin now has lost 7 straight playoff games, which ties Marvin Lewis of the Bengals for the longest postseason losing streak. And I love Mike Tomlin. I would take him with the Raiders right now, but in Pittsburgh, maybe they're done. Tomlin after the game said, quote, I don't necessarily compare it to any other moment. It's the here and now, and certainly it's difficult, but that's what we sign up for. That's the life we lead. Now, the one thing the Steelers had going for them is that C.J. Stroud did not have a fantastic game because the Houston quarterback, who I liked coming out of Ohio State over Bryce Young, but C.J. Stroud, 3 turnovers. but he still threw that one first-half touchdown pass to Christian Kirk, 8 catches, 144 yards. And then Woody Marks, not a household name, maybe should have been, 112 yards on the ground. The Houston Texans, of course, the expansion team, the Oilers are the Titans. They had 6 playoff games in the road in their history. They lost all of them till last night. And Stroud said, quote, "It's all about moving forward and trying your best to flush it and keep it going. Every time we had to bounce back, we made more plays." That's the old saying of having a short memory. It's like closers. You can come in and give up a walk-off grand slam, and we're going to need you tomorrow, so you better not cry about it. You better shake it off. You got 5 minutes to feel sad, and that's it. So Rodgers passed for only 146 yards. I remember in high school when I was 16, they said, yeah, you threw for over 100 yards. I remember thinking, oh, wow. But I'm not Aaron Rodgers. The NFL, 146 yards is not a lot for him. Whether he's going to have his 22nd season, I don't know. Does he want to go out like that? He's a 4-time MVP. His play down the stretch was one of the reasons the Steelers did win the division, but he struggled like his predecessors did, Russell Wilson. And even when the Steelers got the ball back just to run it out, Rodgers didn't even take the field. It was Mason Rudolph wearing number 2 for some reason. It's like, I don't even want to. He's like so humiliated after that pick 6 where he gave a cursory nod and curtsy to the guy running it back. It's like, yeah, you know what? Let's just forget about it. But after the game, Rodgers said, I'm not going to make any emotional decisions. I am disappointed. Obviously, it was such a fun year, a lot of adversity, but a lot of fun. Well, more adversity than fun last night. And as I said, the Steelers' defense, which was long the biggest problem during a playoff victory drought nearly a decade, they did force Stroud into those mistakes and kept the Steelers in the game into the fourth quarter, down by 1. But the result was the same as it's been for the Steelers and Tomlin since they lost to Tom Brady 9 years ago in the AFC Championship game. And, you know, Houston's victory was hardly a thing of beauty for, 50 minutes. But it's opened some eyes. I mean, the Texans survived the way they have basically all year. They just smother you with that defense. And the door was opened by the miscues from Stroud. Threw a pick, put the ball on the ground twice, but they only got a field goal from those 3 turnovers. You got DK Metcalf back. Metcalf, I think he had 3 targets for 2 catches and then a pretty critical drop as well. But, you know, there's unlike that really heart-stopping fourth quarter rally against Baltimore and the missed field goal, there was no late-game heroics from Aaron Rodgers. So Mike Tomlin, who's the NFL's longest tenured head coach, is all but assured for returning for a 20th season if he wants, even if some dorky fans were calling for him to get fired. But meanwhile, Houston heads to New England as the hottest team in the NFL. 10 straight wins. Now, the Texans wide receivers Nico Collins and Justin Watson both went into the concussion protocol in the second half. That could be something. The Texans have not played the Patriots this year. Pittsburgh, though, will get ready for the draft because they will be hosting that in late April as well. So we have our playoff field, our playoff bracket, if you would like, if you're doing it that way. But we'll talk about it. We've got a lot to get to. Once again, let's just make sure we have these dates right. Saturday now, Buffalo at Denver will be the first game. That's afternoon here in the West Coast. Saturday night, it will be San Francisco at Seattle. Sunday, the early game will be Houston at New England, and then the late game Rams at Chicago. All right, let's take a quick break, and we will come on back.
Okay, let's have a little fun. Do you use the expensive blue pill to perform better? Are you thinking about it? So what if we can promise you results for less than $1 a pill? Okay, so these same pills can cost you $30 or more at a pharmacy. And our better blue pill works for less than $1 a pill. You'll save $29 or more per pill. And right now, we'll give you 120 blue pills for just $99. Have a little fun and call right now. Get 120 of our better blue pills for just $99. Don't overpay for the other blue pills. Call Steel Man Pills right now and get the better blue pill for less than $1 a pill. Call 1-800-BUY-BLUE. 1-800-BUY-BLUE. It's easy to remember. 1-800-BUY-BLUE. That's 1-800-BUY-BLUE. And thanks for calling.
Hello, Americans. It's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. Today, we may be able to lift garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. Again, for the last time, that's 800-943-9215. Packages start at $29.99 a month with signed agreement. Restrictions apply. Speak to a representative for complete offer details. See Vivint.com for license details. Terms and conditions apply.
Homeowners, if you're looking for the best in home security and smart technology at a price you can actually afford, we have great news. Now you can get Vivint's award-winning home security systems starting at about $1 a day. U.S. News and World Report has recognized Vivint as the best professionally installed home security system of 2022. And right now, you can get Vivint's home security technology for about $1 a day. Plus, get free professional installation from a licensed technician. Protect your home and loved ones for as low as $1 a day. Call right now for your free home security consultation.
800-918-6189. 800-918-6189. 800-918-6189. That's 800-918-6189.
I'm not insightful enough to be a movie critic. Maybe I could be a food critic. These muffins taste bad. Or an art critic. That painting is bad.
I'm so disgusted by Rick Tittle that I find him very intoxicating.
Thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. There's a brand new book available from the University of Nebraska Press. Just came out a couple weeks ago. It's called The Great Upheaval, War, Migration, and Transformation in Early Modern America, 1675, 1725. Edited by Crystalline Marie Cheveland and our guest, Ian Saxine. Ian, first of all, do you say Saxine, Saxine? How do you say it?
And I'm really impressed that you got it right, Rick. You are clearly a man of culture and discernment.
So much, yes. So,
and my co-author is Crystalline, but all is well.
What did I say? Crystalline?
Yeah, it's okay.
All right.
She's also a person of discernment in society.
She'd make a good wife, then you'd be Crystalline Saxine, right?
I know, exactly.
All right. First of all, I know you're a professor at Bridgewater State, and I bring it up because I remember a guest that I've had on the show before, Jeff Corwin, is an alum What is Bridgewater, Mass like?
Bridgewater, Mass. It's like it's a Boston suburb. Um, it is. It's a perfectly lovely place. I admit I don't live there. I live in Providence. I commute to work. I teach there. But yeah, it's a nice place.
Very nice. All right, let's get to the book. Why this 50-year pot, 1675 to 1725? Why little sphere of influence there? Why was half century?
Well, because it is ignored. And so to quote from the great Seinfeld, right? A lot of Crystalline and my colleagues, they yada yada over the best part of early American history. And so, in a nutshell, the narrative of like early American history is that there's like an early settlement period for most of the 1600s when English and other colonizers show up. Then there's a period of time for most of the 1700s called the provincial era, where there's commercial and population growth. And then there's a brief period where the colonists all go, "Oh my God, the British are screwing us. We should, do something about this and have a revolution." And what Crystalline and I talked about, and then recruited a bunch of scholars to do, was talk about this 50-year period where there's not growth and stability. There's wars and rebellions and chaos. And those aren't just bumps in the road. Those are the story, in fact, that made this later commercial growth and population boom that benefited some, not everybody. It's boom in the slave trade as well, right, in the 1700s, and others. But it's this violence that makes that later growth and prosperity for some possible that needed to be told.
Very well. I remember going to Jamestown, and I want to say the first decade of the 1600s was that settlement. But I've always been fascinated by Roanoke in the late 1500s, where they settle on a little islandy swamp, and then they come back and over 100 people are just completely gone. I know this isn't your book, but do you have any theories about what happened to the colony of Roanoke?
Oh, yeah. Actually, it's been reasonably proven that the survivors, anyway, they moved in with the Croatoan Indians. And then some of their descendants make up the Lumbee of North Carolina even today.
Fascinating. So how much, because we always hear, well, our Constitution was formed not by anything from Europe. It was mostly looking at the Iroquois League and how they had a confederacy. How much did the Native Americans help the white man when they first came here, not knowing it was to their detriment in the long run? Yeah.
Well, so actually, the Constitution was one of the only ways they did not, and so that's kind of been disproven. Like the framers of the Constitution were very open about like where they were getting all their info, and it wasn't from the Iroquois, mostly because the Iroquois League was not it didn't have a constitution of that nature. But in terms of what they did do, I mean, honestly, when European colonists showed up, Native Americans were customers, they were guides, they were food providers, they were allies, they were business partners, and they were spouses periodically. And then, of course, they were also enemies in war as well. But ironically, most of the so-called Indian wars between the early colonies and Native American nations, most of the people fighting on both sides were Indians. And so, like, when South Carolina was going to go to war against the Yamasee, most of the people that they had on the so-called South Carolina Army, they were Native Americans from elsewhere, because these people were already, like, sort of trained to fight, and it was cheaper and easier to arm them than to give a bunch of colonists who didn't usually have a lot of military training weapons. So the answer is, like, a lot. Early American history is Native American history, and, like, vice versa, just go together.
If you could, talk a little bit about how Queen Anne's War made its way to the New World during that time?
Sure. So Queen Anne's War was, just for folks who might be a little iffy on it, was one of these dynastic struggles. So European royal families, it was kind of like the Hatfields and McCoys with better clothes, where everybody was related and they feuded. And what happened is that the King of Spain died without any heirs because he was so inbred he couldn't reproduce. And European empires went to war over who would inherit his empire. And so what happened was, if you were living in the colonies, whether that was in the Caribbean, in Asia, or in North America, well, when your kingdom went to war, you went to war too. And so you went to war against whoever your king and queen's enemies were. And so the North American colonists, their current queen was Queen Anne. She was the last of the Stuarts, and so they sort of named it. They named it after her. And they, in some cases, people would participate for their own local reasons. So New Englanders, like from Bridgewater and elsewhere, they hoped to defeat the French in Canada and their Indian allies, and then likewise a bunch of the local French colonists and their indigenous allies. They also wanted to sort of use this war as a way to get after people they had grudges with. So that's how it came to the colonies.
I think about the men at that time, and I know Nicholson was originally British, but like Joseph Dudley, Francis Nicholson, Benjamin Church, those guys were all from sort of your neck of the woods at that time, right?
Yes, they were.
And so tell me, at which point did you think that the transition going to 1725, was there sort of a seminal moment at that point where things transitioned, or
Yeah, actually there was. And so not like literally, somebody kind of, the calendar switches to New Year's and everybody goes, all right, upheaval stop. But in the, approximately anyway, what happened in the mid-1720s, you get the last major pirates, like the so-called golden age of piracy, with like Blackbeard and company that people have heard of. The last major pirate gets run down and executed in 1726. His name's William Fly. You have a big peace treaty orchestrated by the Virginia colony in 1722. You have the end of a series of wars in the Carolinas with Native American groups and those colonies. And then you also have a big peace treaty that takes several years to sign, and it's my specialty. And it's signed in what's now Portland, Maine, as well as near Halifax, Nova Scotia. And that ended what had been basically 50 years of war on the borderlands of like Vermont and Maine and Nova Scotia, between the Wabanaki Confederacy and New England. So all these things happen around that same time, around the mid-1720s. And it's not that all the violence, in North America or elsewhere stops. It's just that when people start going to war again after a sort of intermission and a peace, it's for different reasons. And the geopolitics is very different. And most importantly, it's that the British are much more definitively wealthier and on top at sea and in the financial world. And they have a considerable edge over their French and other enemies. And the colonies start to grow tremendously, because if you're like a poor person in Europe who's Protestant and you want somewhere to go, after 1725, you want to go to British North America.
Great
and
stuff.
Then, of course,
yeah,
unfortunately. Oh, go ahead.
No, I got to run. I don't want to cut you off here, but yeah, it is a blank spot in our timeline, and it is covered by The Great Upheaval, War, Migration, and Transformation, Early Modern America, from University of Nebraska Press. And we've been speaking with Ian Saxine. Ian, thanks for your time. Congrats on the book.
Thanks so much, Rick.
All right, I'm Rick Tittle. Come on back with Sailing.
Keep listening for details on how to get up to $300 airline credit. Sky Holidays introduces a one-of-a-kind air credit program. Our buying team got a little too aggressive in getting hotel and air deals, so now we have to liquidate our prices. Here's how. Whether you want to go to Paris, Las Vegas, London, Atlanta, Hawaii, or anywhere else in the world. We have amazing deals. Book a selected hotel and we'll give you up to $300 airline credit. Now you can book your vacation and get a free credit to use towards airline travel. We'll book both, airline and hotel, with one simple phone call. We have access to most airlines and deals on thousands and thousands of places to stay. Call right now, book your hotel rooms, claim your airline credit. You can change or modify it at any time. 800-256-4816. 800-256-4816. 800-256-4816. Hey, airline travelers, let's say you have a problem and you need to change or cancel an existing airline reservation. What do? Well, Skywatch is a free service that can help anyone with any airline reservation fix it. Whether you want to cancel it, change your dates, or add passengers, we can help fix airline reservations so you get exactly what you need. We've updated our computer database and now have access to every airline around the globe. So now you can make one phone call regardless of who booked your airline tickets, and we'll change it, cancel it, and fix it for you. We know the insider secrets to fixing reservations the airlines don't want you to know about. So if you need to cancel, change, or modify an existing airline reservation, Skywatch right now. It's a free call, so let us fix it for you. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. That's 855-325-5647.
It's more than a rebellion. When your teen is slipping into drugs or alcohol, when social media and pornography consume time and mind, when depression and even suicidal thoughts cast a shadow over your home, as a parent, you feel powerless. There's hope. At Turnabout Ranch, troubled teens step away from the chaos and into a clarity of nature on a working cattle ranch. Care for horses, learn responsibility, build trust, and rediscover purpose. It isn't theory, it's real work, real therapy, real healing. Families from across the country have found transformation right here. They thought hope was gone. If your teen is struggling with addiction, harmful online behavior, even weight management, call right now and get the help you all need.
800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. That's 800-219-2494.
Thank you for that. Christopher Cross brings us into 940 Tuesdays, and that's our customary time to have a segment co-hosted by Karen Lyle with me. She's from salesportstalk.com. Karen, how you doing?
I'm doing great. This is a wonderful day, and always lovely to talk to you, Rick, and talk to all of our wonderful listeners around the world.
We do have a guest with us, and we're quite happy to have her. It is Hanneke Bohn, and she is here to talk about her long career in sailing. Hanneke, I thought maybe you're German. You don't say Bohn, you say Bohn, yeah?
I'm Dutch.
Oh, you're Dutch. All right, so are you saying...
It's also, in Netherlands, it's also Bohn.
Okay.
I'm used to being called Bohn because I've lived in the UK and outside the Netherlands for 50 years or whatever.
Do you prefer one to the other?
Everybody knows me as Hanneke Bohn. So
all right, very good. If you could, I talked about your long career and sailing across the Atlantic and your long partner you had with the late James Wareham.
Yeah.
How did you get started in all this?
I grew up in Holland in a family that was all sailing. My father was keen on boats. So as a little girl already, we used to have sailing holidays on Dutch inland waters and that. So I learned to sail very early on and became a boaty person. And then in my teens, we started having holidays in the UK. And my father had read about this famous James Wareham who'd crossed the Atlantic in a catamaran. And he was quite interested in the designs he was producing. And so we made a visit in North Wales, where he was living then on his 40-foot catamaran. He'd made his first North Atlantic voyage with. And we ended up, spending a bit of time there and buying a set of plans for a 22-foot boat, and went back to Holland. And over the next year, we built this boat as a family. And through that, we got to know James Moore. He was invited over to give a lecture at the boat club where we built the boat, because everybody had seen us building it and were interested in its background. And then over subsequent years, again, more English camping holidays took us to North Wales, and we volunteered for the building of a 51-foot catamaran that was in progress then. And that's where it all started, really. But which by the time I was 19, I joined the team there and never left.
That's a wonderful story. And, you and I were introduced by Captain Johann Steinke. And I wondered if you could tell me a little bit about, you have more than one family and such connection, because Johann's kind of family to you now. Tell us a little bit about how you know Johann, because we've interviewed him many times here.
Well, we do know Johann because back in 2008, he sailed on a very big Viking ship replica from Ireland to Denmark. And my son was also crew on that boat. He was in his early 20s at the time. And Johann and Jamie, my son, became good friends. And of course, Johann captained the Lady Washington, and on board the Lady Washington, he had a young woman bosun called Liz Dalbon. And then in 2018, they all came together on the A.J. Meerwald in Delaware River there, the Delaware oyster schooner. And Jamie went over for 3 months to help work on that boat. And he met Liz there, who was also helping working on the boat. And Johan was in charge and Megan was there. And so they all got close. And then, my son and Liz became partners. And then what was it? 3 years ago? Trying to remember now. Johan officiated at their wedding over here in Cornwall. It wasn't an official sort of legal wedding, but it was a proper wedding in all other senses.
Well,
and
for mariners, for mariners, he's the captain. He can do this. Yes,
exactly. He did the wedding ceremony as captain, dressed in his best captain's outfit.
I think about
you probably know his outfits. He's got some nice.
Yes, I do.
Clothes. Yeah.
Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah.
I think about the long history of the Low Countries and the Spanish and the French and Paiba, and they came in. But the Netherlands and the state of Holland, before Britannia ruled the waves, they really were the dominant sea power with the way they were trading. Do you sort of feel that in your bones, that rich history of Dutch sailing?
I suppose so. It's just there. I mean, Netherlands is a very boaty country. Wherever you go, there's water and there's boats in it. So
right.
and generally they're pretty good sailors, or they certainly think they are. The Dutch can be a bit, they believe they're always best and know it all.
Do you have a little skipper key on the boat too?
What do you mean by skipper key?
A skipper key, the little Dutch black dog that's kind of like the mascot of Dutch sailors.
No, I'm afraid I don't.
Okay.
No. No.
Well,
so
Hanneke, tell us a little bit about your recent voyages in the Spirit of Gaia, because you did some all-women sailing, which I imagine, I mean, we talk about this, but all of us just sail. We're sailors. But, tell us a little bit about some of your recent voyages and what you're going to do with the Spirit of Gaia, which is your very lovely boat that you also, I'm assuming, helped build.
Oh, yes. We built it back in the late 80s and launched in 1992. Over the next 6 years, we sailed the Atlantic and around the world till 98. Boat was then in Greece for many, many years, where we did sailing and other things. And then just fast forward, James Warren, my partner, he died in 2021. And then in 2022, I started doing a lot more sailing. First of all, I joined some German friends on a sister ship of Gaia and crossed the Atlantic to Guadeloupe. And on that voyage, I actually went up to Annapolis to receive an OCT award of Lifetime Achievement Award, which was sort of given to James and I feel to Bruce Warham, who was his other partner, and myself, and I collected it there. And then later in 22, I started sailing Gaia. I decided she'd been in Greece long enough, needed some actual ocean water under her keels. And so I started to make a voyage west and with the goal to reach Portugal. So I did that in 3 stages. I first sailed to Sicily, and there the boat stayed for the winter. In the spring, we did a big refit, copper coating in Sicily with a bunch of very nice volunteers that helped. Then I sailed on to Ibiza, which is in the Balearic Islands near Spain, and left the boat there for a few months over the summer. And that's from there I did my all-women crew voyage from there to Portugal. That was really nice, actually. I collected a really nice bunch of women. A couple of them were actually from Cornwall here, which were sailors. But I had a very nice Spanish girl, Blanca, who I'd met in Guadeloupe the year before. Very clever girl and artistic and sailing and everything. And she happened to live in Valencia, so it was nearby. And she joined us. And then I had a really good American friend who had been a friend already in the 1980s, long time ago. And, you know, by this point, her son had grown up and she was freed. And she'd done quite a lot. She sailed on the Pride of Baltimore in the early days.
Oh.
And she'd crossed the Atlantic and got to Europe. And when she was in Europe, she came to us as a volunteer to do some work. And she spent, well, good 6 months or more with us. And but then went back to America. And she now lives in Baltimore. And so when I crossed the Atlantic to Guadeloupe and went for the OCC award, I stayed with her and she drove me to Annapolis because that was her birth town. She knew it well. She's a lovely artist and has done a lot of work on buildings there in Annapolis, interior decorative work. Anyway, so I had her as a really nice crew. Who else? Another very nice Spanish woman joined me in Ibiza, who did really good therapist and massage woman. And so we had these lovely women, and there was some change underway because they couldn't all do the whole voyage. And, you know, we sailed along the coast there. There was a really lovely atmosphere, only women. I really liked that. It somehow, it's always different. You know, I've sailed with mixed crews. Sorry.
That is true. I said I've also noticed that, you know, there's you know, just a certain camaraderie, you know.
Yeah, sort of intimacy. You can talk women's things together, and there's no men sort of sitting next to you.
Sorry about that, Rick.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all good. We just have time for one more question, and I was wondering, because I was looking at pictures of the Tangaroa, how does that compare, or does it, to the Kon-Tiki?
The little Tangaroa James built back in 1954, 53, 54. It was a very crude boat, actually, and it wasn't a particularly good sailor because it was basically 2 long boxes with flat bottoms. It had, you know, it sails like a raft, and so did the Kon-Tiki. But the original Kon-Tiki, actually, they didn't sail very well because they hadn't the knowledge of how to steer it properly. And I don't know whether you know, there was another Kon-Tiki voyage done again 10, 15 years ago or so. And the grandson of Torhaida was on board. And the crew were quite a few sort of Viking ship sailors who knew about square sails and how to sail them. And they got that boat. I think they did the voyage in a lot shorter time. And they were much more maneuverable, and they landed it properly without crash landing it on a reef. And I think a film was made of it, but it was in Norwegian. I've never been able to see it.
Well, Hanneke Boone, we always appreciate your insights and your stories. So thank you for your time.
Well, thank you. I hope.
Thank you so much. We'll be talking again, I am sure.
Okay. Bye bye then.
All right, and Karen, we'll see you next week.
Okay, sounds great.
I'm Rick Tittle. We'll take a quick break. Come on back on Sports Byline USA.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you from Senior Care USA. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. That leaves your loved ones the burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay your family up to $30,000 to help pay for your funeral and other expenses. There are no medical exams, your rates will never increase, and your plan cannot be canceled, regardless of your medical conditions, as long as you make your premium payments. Get up to $30,000 in final expense insurance. Call now for free information. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. That's 800-399-6879.
I've got a question for you. Do you want a lower car payment just by making a phone call? You know, most people buy a car and they pay whatever the car dealer says their interest rate is, and they forget about it and make payments. But did you know there is a secret in your contract that allows another company to refinance any car payment to try and lower it? It's true. There is indeed a company out there that knows the ins and, more importantly, the outs on car loans, and they know how to lower your current car payments. It's easy and fast, and you could have a lower car payment next month. Make this free call right now and find out if you could lower your existing car payment. Call the Car Savings Hotline right now. The call is free.
Call now. 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. That's 800-605-1680.
Hey, vacation lovers! It's finally time to use all those random facts you learned on TikTok for something that actually matters. It's the Radio Trivia Challenge from thevacationbuddies.com. All right, here's how it works. Be one of the first 10 callers right now and you'll score a complimentary 3-day, 2-night getaway from the Vacation Buddies. You'll stay at none other than Westgate Resorts, in your choice of Vegas, Orlando, Myrtle Beach, or Branson. You ready? According to travel stats, which of these 3 cities is the most visited vacation destination in the U.S.? A, Las Vegas, B, Orlando, C, New York City. First 10 callers get the trip. So stop scrolling and start dialing. And let's see if TikTok actually taught you anything.
Be one of the first 10 callers. Call Vacation Buddies right now. 800-340-1834. 800-340-1834. 800-340-1834. That's 800-340-1834.
Hope I don't see you for a while. Getting sick of you.
Take your sick ass in the hospital.
I don't want to walk around with them. I don't want to walk around with them. I don't want to walk around with them. So I don't want to walk around with them. I don't want to walk around with them. I don't want to walk around with them.
Rick Tittle can usually be found at He Baby Mama House.
Thank you for that. Welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you, coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio, the American Forces Radio Network. Coming up in the next hour, we'll have Luke, Vinny, and Peter, the members of OCT. They're at Sketchfest. Also, writer Monte Burke to talk about USC during the Pete Carroll days. Cheater! This is the only song we know, the only song. So Hanukkah, which is also a Jewish holiday, spelled differently. Anyway, Hanukkah Boon, she was joining us from Cornwall, which is a very interesting area of England on the south coast. Goes all the way to Penzance, which is the most western part of England. And it's where we get the term bootleg, because people would smuggle stuff and they would just drop stuff down into their boots. Anyway, Pirates Coves and Pirates of Penzance and all that. But Cornwall has, they like to think of themselves as a different country. Like when you drive down there, a lot of times there's just no street signs. And I don't mean in towns. I mean like on the freeway. It's like one giant Bellinus. It's like we don't want anyone here. But I remember in London, I was checking on a hotel in Mousehole, Mousehole, Mousehole. And my friend who's from London was talking, and the guy chided him because it's Mousehole, M-A-W, or M-O-W-Z-I-L. Mousehole, it's not Mousehole. And it's like, well, I didn't know it was called that. So here's someone from London, just a few hours away. They don't know the language. How am I supposed to know? Coming from the United States. But if you ever watch that Doc Martin show, that's all about Cornwall. And that's not about boots, big, ugly work boots that 14-year-old girls wear. It's a different Doc Martin. But I digress, and we'll get back into the sporting somewhat world and entertainment as well. And we'll take a quick hard news break. You can skip that and come on back on Sports Pylon.
I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning. One of the more prolific lives I've lived has been around the pro wrestling business, where I've met a lot of people who will swear to you that everything in sports is rigged, or in wrestling parlance, a work. But as crazy as those people sound sometimes, and they do, when you have a slate of playoff games like this past weekend, sometimes even the rational mind can wonder how the pencils at 345 Park Avenue planned it. Saturday's games kicked the card off hot. The Los Angeles Rams knocked off Carolina, which featured as good of a high-spot-laden fourth-quarter finish as you could ask for. Back-and-forth scoring with lead changes and a lot of heart shown by the Panthers and quarterback Bryce Young before they ultimately ran out of both time and magic. And if you don't prefer that style and would rather a miraculous comeback, there was the Chicago Bears' 18-point rally to upend the Green Bay Packers, which caused 102-year-old Soldier Field to quake. Sunday started off just as good, with Josh Allen and Buffalo also surviving a team with a lot of heart in the Jacksonville Jaguars, getting the Bills their first playoff road win in 33 years. The Philadelphia Eagles stuck to the script of their season and saw offensive woes strike them down against San Francisco. The team could only score 3 points off Brock Purdy picks, punting away 3 more possessions in the second half before ultimately running out of downs to end their year. Then the New England Patriots dispatched the Los Angeles Chargers in a game which began the fourth quarter with 4 field goals scored. In pro wrestling carny terms, this was the popcorn match. Gotta bring it all down a bit, get everyone resettled in their seats, and allow for the main event to build properly. And Monday's main event of Houston and Pittsburgh was something akin to the Memphis territory in the 1980s, utilizing a concession stand brawl. A sloppy mess where glass mustard bottles were hurled and a lot of holes were seen in the offense attempted. C.J. Stroud shattered the record for fumbles in a postseason game with 5, losing 2 of them and adding an interception for good measure, and he won. It was an absolute mess, but also absolutely entertaining, as the NFL can often be. It was a good show, powers that be. Good show. I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning.
Every champion has a team behind them. And for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Getting together with friends to watch the game? Then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted and pure, this is the one thing all Americans can agree on. Founder Mark Gus Scott chose the finest natural elements America has to offer, and you'll taste how great it is to be an American. Now available at Bevmo, GoPuff, Hy-Vee, and Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly. Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
Rick Tittle knows his sports.
I hate that guy.
I love that guy. Oh my gosh, he's so fine. Rick Tittle brings home the bacon, fries it up in a pan, and then he eats it.
Ricky T in the hizzle for shizzle, biznatch.
Thank you so much. Welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you. Also streaming along on YouTube and Twitch as well. The FA Cup had the biggest upset in its history. It's the oldest cup in the world. It's 154 years old. And Macclesfield beat the defending champs, Crystal Palace, the Premier League from South London. And the reason why the NBA Cup doesn't work is because they're It's just NBA teams in it. This is why the FA Cup is fun, because you can even have non-league teams in it as well. In the pyramid, and Macclesfield is not. I thought it was Macclesfield Town. I didn't realize that they folded a few years ago, and Macclesfield is what they call this new conglomeration. In fact, the guy who scored the winning goal is a teacher. It's a part-time job, so it's semi-professional. But by the way, the first non-league club to ever win the FA Cup was Tottenham Hotspur in 1901. But this is what makes it fun, is that you can have these giant killings, and there were 117 places in between those two teams. If you look at the pyramid of English soccer, which is pretty amazing, it would sort of be like, I don't know, like a high school varsity team beating Indiana right now in football. It'd be like, what? But not really, because the size difference is the same. These guys are all the same size. They're all the same age. It's just that the talent and the speed and all that other stuff is just not the same until it is, or you get a lucky bounce, so the other team is not trying as hard. Tottenham played at Tamworth last year, another non-league team, and they almost beat us. I say us as a Tottenham fan. We finally won 3-0, but like in the 85th minute, and a ball cleared off the line. It's scary. You don't want to play those Macclesfield of the world. But as I said, that's what makes the Cup so great. All right, I'm Rick Tittle. Come on back.
Kohl's new clearance markdowns are intense. Up to 70% off is the kind of deal that'll leave you feeling stunned and make you whisper things like, "Where have you been my whole life?" to a cardigan. Just take a deep breath, steady your cart, and try to act normal. But it's not possible. The savings are just too good. Shop new clearance markdowns now, in-store and online at Kohl's. Select styles, some exclusions apply. See store or kohls.com for details.
Every champion has a team behind them. And for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Working up the hugs on the thighs to get it poppin' like a jalapeno on the thighs. And if you want it, you can pop it like a kind of fry. But first you gotta get your body right.
All right, what was that, toe tapper? That is from my next guest, the group OCT, On Company Time. Their show, Wolves of Glendale, will be part of Sketchfest here in town at a great venue, the Great American Music Hall. Aptly named, that'll be Tuesday, January 27th at 8 p.m. Rick Tittle with you, coast to coast and around the world on American Forces Radio Network. Gentlemen, do I have Luke, Vinny, and Peter, all three of you?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Doing well, thanks. And I just let's start with you, Luke, because you guys, I know that you're with your brother Peter, and then you add in Vinny. How did this all sort of get off the ground?
So actually, the three of us were all working at the same company. Peter, obviously, we knew each other before we started there, but we met Vinny at work. And we quickly realized that while we weren't all that good at getting much done for the company, we were pretty good at writing these dumb songs about dumb topics, and it kind of just snowballed into something a lot bigger than we were expecting it to.
And then Vinny, you add in some sketch comedy too, right?
Yeah, it's a perfect conglomerate of music and silly laughs.
We like to throw big words in when we answer, even though we typically don't even know what they mean.
We kind of. I just have a Webster's dictionary in front of me. I close my eyes and point. Whatever sounds good.
Very good. And Peter, you might know the Irish group Foil Arms and Hog, which they do music and they're also very funny, but they're from Ireland. They're not American. So do you look at them and go, wow, those guys are great, or do you say, screw those guys?
I mean, I'm not too familiar with them. They're Foil Arms and Hog right there. I've seen them on YouTube, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many comedy groups that we look up to. And it's like, Lonely Island being one of them, Bo Burnham being another one.
Flights of the
Conchords being another one. There's so many, and we're constantly grabbing inspiration from just like literally everything. But yeah, like they seem like a cool group.
Yeah. Lou, I was going to say that song kind of reminded me of Brett and Jermaine, that kind of beat that you guys have, huh, Luke?
Oh yeah, I guess so. We're not familiar with it, but I'm sure it's a good track. I'm sure it's,
Vinny, let me compare you to yet another group, and then we'll move on to your individuality. But I was looking at your merch, and I like that Devo kind of T-shirt where you're all looking off with the sunglasses.
Oh yeah.
We we're heavily involved in the designing aspect of the merch. We work with our amazing designer. And it's one of, I didn't realize it was a hidden passion of mine until we were doing it, but designing t-shirts is really, really fun. And
the way we landed on the sunglasses was just, we didn't really know what to wear in our first music video because we've never done anything like this before. And we saw, what's the movie with I'm a Soul Man?
Oh, Blues Brothers?
Yeah, we saw Blues Brothers and we said, you know what? Those guys look cool. Why don't we just copy that? And there's three of us.
Yeah, sunglasses are just sick.
Sunglasses are cool. Suits are cool. And we've worn them ever since.
Beatles wore suits. We love the Beatles.
Yeah, that too.
So, Peter, I actually had, when I was in college, I had a summer job at the world headquarters of Bank America here in downtown San Francisco, the biggest skyscraper, and I'd wear a suit, and I thought, oh, this is going to be cool, and I got into that cubicle, and I almost wanted to kill myself. I knew that I would never, now I'd probably be rich by now, but I knew that wasn't for me. So how was that stifling for you guys, and then for the creativity to come out of all that?
It's funny, we each said, like, if you asked us 5 years ago that we'd be wearing suits for work every often, we wouldn't be happy. I know I had set out to like never wear a suit for my job. That was like one of my goals, and here we are wearing suits every night. But
They're sequin suits, so it's got a little bit of.
Yeah, there's like a sparkle. To
Yeah,
it.
they sparkle.
Yeah,
So there's.
it's a little different. We're not at a desk. We're dancing in them, so it feels different.
Well, it depends on your perspective. I remember Dennis Miller stand-up. He said, if you're over 30 and you still wear a name tag, something went wrong.
Oh, wow.
Which I think is kind of cold-blooded. Now, we're also dealing with at least one of you, Berkeley College musically trained. That's very impressive.
Oh, well, thank you. It's something funny about going to Berkeley is all the famous people that went to Berkeley didn't graduate from Berkeley. You know, they came, they were there, they got famous, and they left. And I'm one of the lucky few who graduated. And yeah, there's a lot more of us who graduated that you don't know about. the famous ones who didn't.
Well, you know what's interesting, Luke, is that a couple months ago I had Lawrence Burke's, I don't know if it was his daughter or whatever, she did a documentary on him, and I didn't realize that's where the name came from. It's kind of goofy, isn't it? Burke Lee.
Wow, you just told me something that I did not know at all. I know Lawrence Burke's. I didn't know that they named the school after him.
Yeah, and then of course people get confused with UC Berkeley out at Cal, right?
Well, if we're live right now, this is my petition to change Berkeley to Pappalardi in sometime in the future. I think we've earned that right.
All right. Well, Vinny, Wolves of Glendale. What is this show at Sketchfest?
Well, you know, we're opening for the Wolves of Glendale, and they are this incredible comedy band that we love and admire. And, you know, we're just coming together and we're putting on a pretty sick show, you know? We're just doing our thing and then opening for these legends.
Yeah, they're another group that we connected with that we've always been fans of, and they were nice enough to share this Sketchfest slot with us. And yeah, we can't say enough good things about the Wolves of Glendale.
Yeah, through the comedy music world and stuff, you know, we all came together and kind of made these bonds, and you know, it's super cool, the community that we've all built.
You know what? I would probably say you guys are getting close to being drunk with fame, inundated with groupies. Where are you? Where are you with that?
Well, you know, the
paparazzi's out of control.
It is,
Yeah.
and we want to request our privacy. Pretty much ever since Frictionless Wipe has come out, the amount of attention that we're getting it's been overwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, walking into a CVS is just impossible these days, really.
So
when I hear Frictionless Wipe, I'm thinking Japanese toilet.
Yeah, well,
with the music playing and stuff. Oh, I really do want one of those.
Well, everybody, sfsketchfest.com for tickets. Tuesday, January 27th, 8 p.m., Great American Music Hall. The OCT, our guests, Luke, Vinny, and Peter, will be opening up for Wolves of Glendale. It'll be a hilarious and very entertaining show. Gentlemen, have a great time while you're in town, and let's catch up down the road.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, good stuff. Open lines on the other side. Come on back on Sports Byline.
You hear that? That's the sound of uncertainty lurking under your hood. You know the feeling. I know I do. That sudden sinking sensation when you see a check engine light or your car unexpectedly breaks down and you're faced with sky-high repair bills. It's time to shield against unexpected repairs with CarShield. CarShield is America's most trusted auto protection company and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Don't let the fear of a breakdown keep you up at night. Trust the Shield, Car Shield, and say goodbye to terrifying repair bills and hello to peace of mind. Your plan also comes with 24/7 roadside assistance, courtesy towing, rental car options, and so much more. Don't wait till it's too late. Call Car Shield now before a breakdown. Protect your wallet. Protect your car with Car Shield. Get our best protection ever. Call now. You'll thank me later. 800-247-6135. 800-247-6135. That's 800-247-6135.
Hello, Americans. It's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your wage garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. Again, for the last time, that's 800-943-9215.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. That's 800-915-9654.
By noon, I need them 8,000 hens moved into their new cages. Now, sometimes they don't want to cooperate, but you give them a good shaking, they'll settle down for you.
Do the chickens have large talons?
Do they have what?
Large talons.
I don't understand a word you just said.
Cares about anything else when you've got Rick Tittle on the radio.
Thank you so much. Welcome back to the show. We'll talk college football, especially South Central style, with Monte Burke. He's written a book about USC. Speaking of baseball, was I? I am now. The Diamondbacks have acquired Nolan Arenado from St. Louis, 8-time All-Star. The D-backs got Arenado and cash to help pay for his contract for one guy, a minor league pitcher, a righty named Jack Martinez. Arenado had to waive his no trade for this to go through. But the Cardinals are in the midst of a salary dump. Now, these are older guys. I mean, Wilson Contreras gone, Sonny Gray, all three of these guys now traded. Arizona is only going to pay $5 million of his salary this year. Arenado, the Cardinals will pay $22 million. Can you imagine? In their minds, it makes sense. They didn't want Arenado anymore, and they save $5 million. But to the rest of us, they're paying $22 million to play for another National League team. Arenado, by the way, is under contract next year for $15 million, and the Diamondbacks will only pay 6 of that. This is an outstanding trade. Unless this Jack Martinez wins the Cy, this is an outstanding deal for Arizona to get a guy that good. I know he's not what he used to be, but he's still really good. And it's pretty interesting. The other thing to keep in mind, the Rockies have to give $5 million towards the salary as well. Yeah, we can get into the weeds on that one. But this ends not even a year and a half effort to trade Arenado. He was traded to the Astros last year, and he blocked it. He said he would accept a trade to a certain amount of teams. The Diamondbacks were one of those teams. So you might remember that the Diamondbacks gave him a farewell send-off in their final home game for a guy who's under contract for 2 more years. That felt like the point of no return, and it was. And apparently the rumor was Arenado expanded his list of teams. My all-time favorite story when it comes to this is Matt Holliday had a no-trade list of 1 team, the Oakland A's. Don't trade me back there 5 times like Jed Lowry. So now Arenado, as I mentioned, is 35 years old. He hit .237. So I said he's still good. He's still okay. The decline at the plate wasn't great. But if you think about just 3 years ago, he was 3rd in MVP. And you say, yeah, Rick, well, that was 3 years ago. I still think this is a really good move for a guy who has going to have a fresh destination. Maybe he can turn it around, whether he can tap into he always had that pull side power. He just turns on everything. And not to mention a 10-time Gold Glove winner. I remember when Chapman was with the A's, it's, who's better, Arenado or his high school teammate, Matt Chapman? And I would be on the air going, Arenado better than Chapman. And people were like, how dare you, Tittle? I'm like, you think I'm saying it just to be a jackass? I'm saying it because Arenado has a higher batting average and hits more home runs, and his defense is just as good. So what's the argument here? I don't understand what we're arguing about. You should get our guys back. Yeah, right. Sounds good. So the top prospect, George Lawler, has struggled in his brief MLB action, and the D-backs were clearly not comfortable with him at the hot corner. And, you know, they put Blaze Alexander, love that name, especially in Phoenix. That guy's a utility man, and he was their regular third baseman after they dealt Eugenio Suarez back to Seattle. And so they obviously don't feel that Lawler is ready for full-time duty. But how about a Gold Glove all-star veteran 2-year stopgap at the hot corner? I mean, if you look at his overall resume, he's just short of 2,000 hits and 353 home runs. He's one of the greatest defensive third basemen of all time, which means he has a chance at the Hall with 10 Gold Gloves. For now, the focus is on what he'll mean for the Diamondbacks the next 2 years. But for the Cardinals, the trade continues this offseason teardown that saw Contreras and Gray both traded to the Red Sox on separate deals. Their utility man, Brendan Donovan, is on the block. Their lefty reliever, Jojo Romero, is also on the block. Possibly Lars Nootbaar, who played for Japan in the World Baseball Classic, if you recall that. Brendan Donovan, apparently, there's a lot of people knocking on the door. Now, who's this Jack Martinez? He's 22 years old. He was an 8th-round pick last year, and he was from Arizona State, so local kid to the Diamondbacks when they drafted him. His ERA is 5.5. He's not in the top 30 prospects. So, once again, bow down to the Diamondbacks. Will you take Arenado off our hands? All right, we'll give you someone who's not even ranked as one of our prospects, just him, and you pay basically 3/4 of the salary. Deal. Really? All right, well, we have a deal. So the D-backs, of course, I always call it the Lost Worlds. Well, I always call it that. I'm going to call it that now, which counts as always. The Lost World Series, Texas versus Arizona. No one in the United States watched it, which means I didn't watch it. It was the first time in my life I didn't watch the World Series. I couldn't even pretend to be even remotely interested. Now I watch the highlights. I have to know what's going on because I do kind of care, and I do host a show like this. If somebody calls and says, what about Bochy making that bunt in the 9th inning? And I'd be like, what? I'm not going to pretend I saw it, but the Diamondbacks are National League champs. But last year, they flirted with it, and they went 80-82. And the Cardinals, of course, were 6 games there. And they have brought in Chaim Bloom, who has pretty big resume from his days in Milwaukee and Boston. He is now they call him, I'm not going to go with Pobo, the president of baseball operations. The Pobo. That sounds like something, a sandwich you would order in New Orleans. Yeah, let me get a po' boy with extra prawns on it. Out in the West Coast, we call them crawdads. They crayfish. Cray. But meanwhile, other teams sitting around going, well, what are we going to do? I mean, there are a lot of teams who would love to have Arenado, but third base is already taken. I'm sure if you thought, well, maybe he could fit in with that. Well, it's too late now. But I'm always wary when a team is trying to shove someone down your throat. I'll never forget right before the trade deadline when I knew Mark McGwire, we all did, in Oakland, and we knew he was about to get traded. And I went to every game that last homestand, and I tried to sit down as close as I could to the first baseline just so I could just watch McGwire. And Sandy Alders waited and waited and waited and waited. And then 5 minutes before the deadline, he called Walt in St. Louis and said, please take McGwire. We'll give you T.J. Matthews, Kenny Battle, and Blake Stein. Deal. And then what happens? Mackland, home run duel with Sammy Sosa. Well, the best guy we got, it was a set man, T.J. Matthew. Kenny Battle, they put him in center field for a couple games. He stunk. Blake Stein, I called him Aliens of Gold because there was a PC game at that time called Blake Stone, Aliens of Gold. He was this big, goofy pitcher with freckle face, fat cakes all over. But that's because they shoved him down their throat. Please take this guy. And this is a perfect example of that. And it's not even really a salary dump outside of $5 million. I mean, look, $5 million to you and me is a lot, but to a baseball team, it's look, we already said our goodbyes. We're done. We want to move on. And this is what happens when you sign guys to multi-year deals, and you know it's going to take them into their late 30s. This might happen. All right, I'm Rick Tittle. Let's talk a little USC football on the other side on Sports Byline.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. Still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at bookassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I am an American veteran. I'm proud to have served this country. Helping veterans is all Americans can participate in, and it's as simple as donating an old car that you have sitting around. When you call the Veteran Card Donation Program, they'll explain how their program works and arrange a time they can come and pick up your vehicle for free. Running or not, it doesn't matter. They take cars, trucks, motorcycles, or vans. Show your support by donating your car and get a tax deduction in the process. Call the Veteran Card Donation Program right now. They'll come and pick your car up for free, and you'll get a tax deduction in the process. Call the number we're about to give you right now. Thank you. God bless America.
800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. That's 800-887-1097.
Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift could be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today. Getting together with friends to watch the game? Then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted and pure, this is the one thing all Americans can agree on. Founder Mark Gus Scott chose the finest natural elements America has to offer, and you'll taste how great it is to be an American. Now available at Bevmo, GoPuff, Hy-Vee, and Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly.
Teams have 4 attempts to move the ball 10 yards. So if you see a graphic on your screen that says first and 10, that means it's the team's first attempt to get 10 yards.
You must be crazy. Use a DOG. And if you was my man, I would have been kicked you out of my house by now. This is what had happened.
Thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you, coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. There's a brand new book out today from Grand Central Publishing entitled Men of Troy, The Epic Afternoons, Wild Nights, and Enduring Legacy of Pete Carroll's USC Trojans. And joining us right now is the author of that book, Monte Burke. Monte, welcome to the show. And growing up in the Bay Area, I always thought of USC as, John Robinson's team. And then he went away and came back for a few years. But I never thought like I would think of a coach before him. And when Pete Carroll came in after Paul Hackett was basically like a 500 coach, Pete Carroll didn't do well in New England or the New York Jets. And so I didn't know if that was going to be a good hire. And then now when I think of USC, I think of Pete Carroll.
You weren't the only one. I mean, they were, he was, depending on who you talked to, he was a third or fourth choice. And fans were outraged. The fax machines broke, letters to the editor, that sort of thing. But, it turned out to be the kind of perfect confluence of a downtrodden coach needing one more chance and downtrodden program, very much like Nick Saban when he went to Alabama, actually.
I remember seeing a picture after the fact of the four quarterbacks, and it was Leinart, Palmer, Sanchez, Castle, like all NFL quarterbacks. What was the recruiting like on that team?
I mean, he's just such a, it's funny, you mentioned earlier how he didn't work out in the NFL initially. He had this kind of loosey-goosey players coach kind of style, and it just turned out to work perfectly in college. I mean, he had a great sales pitch. He created, a celebrity culture around this team. So, I interviewed this one guy. He said he came by to do his visit, and he was a punter, and he was punting the ball about 2 feet away from Snoop Dogg. And it just became this, it's sort of a recruiting pitch that sort of manifested itself over, having Snoop Dogg and Will Ferrell and Arnold on the sidelines and just the place to be. You got to remember too, at the time there were no NFL teams in Los Angeles, so, and people in Los Angeles they gravitate towards success. And when this team had success, they became the toast of the town. And then some of the players actually became, arguably more famous than some of the, celebs who were coming to watch them. There's a story in the book about Matt Leinart and Will Ferrell going to lunch on campus somewhere, and some kid coming up and asking for Leinart's autograph and not even paying attention to Will Ferrell.
Yeah, I was going to mention that all those years without an NFL team. And what's interesting too, like when I was in college, the highest paid state employee was Terry Donahue at UCLA, and they had a good rivalry, but UCLA was just a little bit better. At that point, UCLA was still a factor, but USC just got miles ahead. Why did you think LA gravitated more towards the Trojans than the Bruins?
I just think success. I mean, they have a little bit more of a storied history too. You mentioned John Robinson. There's also McKay was there as well. All the way back to Howard Johnson. I mean, they've got kind of a long history of success and a so their alums are kind of into it. But it's so interesting because college football is for the most part a sort of, as opposed to the NFL, which is a city game. College football is sort of a rural or a small town game. You think of Tuscaloosa and State College, stuff like that, except for USC and UCLA. But USC really just captured kind of lightning in a bottle, and had all of this hype and, billboards all over the city, and, Henry, the Fonz coming to practices and to games. In the end, that sort of, it was a great strength. And in the end, it sort of, helped lead to their downfall a little bit. It was sort of hard to corral, it seemed like, towards the end.
Well, yeah, and the only good thing about all of that was they had one loss vacated, which is, no one talks about that. But yeah, 14 wins vacated. I've been in that little room with all the hall of whatever, all the Heisman trophies. And
in Heritage Hall.
That's it. And Reggie Bush's wasn't there. And Pete Carroll, he ran away to Seattle. They knew this was coming. What went down with all that? Reggie Bush's parents got a free house, and did we ever wrap our heads around all that?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I actually think in a weird way it sort of precipitated the end of, or precipitated what we have in college football now. I feel like the NCAA and opposing coaches were sort of envious and maybe a little bit sick of what Carroll had created there. They looked like they were having a little bit too much fun. They felt like it was kind of an unfair recruiting advantage to have Snoop Dogg, sitting 4 feet away from your punter. And so there was a real urge to kind of shut the party down. That said, there were a lot of kind of, weird things, a lot of agents crawling around, agents going to practice, stuff like that. So there were some things that maybe needed to be cleaned up, but I felt like that was the NCAA definitely came down on them harder than they probably should have, and harder than they did with Miami, who arguably did worse things, and then Penn State, who later arguably did worse things. So I feel like there was a little bit of a sort of, you guys are having too much fun, let's sort of shut this down. A little bit of overreach on the NCAA's side, which kind of pointed out the hypocrisy of the NCAA. It's kind of weird if you think about it. Reggie Bush was not being paid to, or allegedly paid, I should say, to stay in school. He was being paid, or allegedly paid, to leave, to go to the pros. So, that to me is kind of interesting that's not, it wasn't necessarily a pay to play, it was a pay to leave, which has always been really interesting to me. And if you think about it too, Reggie Bush, was arguably one of the best players of all time, and he could legally make no money off of his name, image, and likeness. So I think this was sort of the first, little piece that got knocked off the NCAA and led to, what we have now, which is complete mayhem, of course, and needs to be reined in a little bit. But I think this was the first piece.
Help me with this story, whether it's an urban legend or true, that at a practice one day, Pete Carroll arranged with Lendale White that he would kick him off the team, and Lendale White would say, F your mama, and then he would go to the top of a building and then throw himself off in effigy and make everyone on the team think he committed suicide.
That's right. So it's interesting. That's an old Monte Kiffin, who was Lane Kiffin's father, who was a defensive genius, was sort of Pete's kind of paternal figure as a coach. And Monte Kiffin came up with that joke back in the Minnesota Vikings in the 80s. Carroll always loved it. So, yeah, he and Lendale and a coach named Pat Rule got together and kind of planned it. And Lendale just went off. And I interviewed Lendale, and he said it was so fun to go off on all these coaches because I felt like going off on them anyway. I wasn't necessarily not telling the truth, is what he said. So, yeah, so he makes a big deal. He leaves practice in a huff. He throws his gloves down. He tells some Fox News reporter on the way out, like, I'm out of here. And Carroll's like, don't worry about him. We can win without him, whatever. And then 2 minutes later, he's up on the top of a roof, saying, I hate football, and then throws a mannequin down. And what's interesting is probably 75% of the team knew at that point that it was kind of a joke, but there were plenty of players who didn't. And it was actually a really traumatic thing for a couple of seconds until they realized that it was a joke. But, yeah, that was Pete Carroll's kind of thing. He loved having levity. He loved pulling pranks. He a little bit of mischief within him. He also had people come in and Will Ferrell actually came to a practice too. He said that it was they were down on the tight ends were all hurt, and they said they had some walk-on guy coming in, and it turned out to be Will Ferrell, who went out for a couple passes and actually caught one, I heard.
Now that's funny and that's fun, but to make people think they're witnessing the suicide, and then when they go, ha ha, just kidding. All right, special teams, let's go. And I'm like, wait, what? I don't know.
There's a little darkness to it. He actually had Will Ferrell too. One time he had another prank where Will Ferrell there was a guy on a tower filming the practice and pretended to fall off, and then someone yelled, he caught him, and then Will Ferrell was dressed up in like a Superman outfit, complete with like a sock and his Speedo, and ran out with a guy in his arms. So there was a darkness to some of these pranks that was a little bit strange.
Do you think, as I mentioned earlier, that Pete Carroll got out of Dodge because he knew the storm clouds were building, or he just was there for basically a decade and had had enough?
I think that two things can be true. I think he always told everybody that he wanted to go back and kind of prove himself in the NFL. He had come from the NFL not only as a head coach, but had been an assistant coach there for years and years and years. So I think he always said that itch was always something he wanted to scratch. So, but I also think that it's hard to believe that he didn't have some inkling, just based on the questions that the NCAA were asking during some of the hearings and the investigation, that he didn't have some inkling that some stuff was coming down. Now he claims and says so in the book that he didn't, and then had he known, he would have stuck around. There are other folks around him who claim the opposite. So it may have just happened either way. The Seahawks offered him a pretty great opportunity. I mean, he was functionally he got to pick his own GM or come in with his own GM and kind of have general manager powers, which is what he always wanted, which he had. Of course, all college coaches have that power. Not all NFL, very few NFL coaches have that power.
Help me with this. Obviously, that Texas game, the Vince Young running, I mean, it's one of the greatest games I've ever seen, pro or college. But there was another year, I'm trying to see if my memory is with me. I think LSU and Les Miles won the championship, but USC wasn't involved, and so they were like, well, we're still national champs because the AP had us won. And the rest of it, the rest of the country is like, you're in the BCS, you didn't win, dudes.
Right, so that was 2 years before.
Okay.
It was LSU under Saban. And and it was a kind of a twisted thing. It was LSU played Oklahoma, who had lost dramatically, or lost badly, I should say, in the Big 12 championship that year. USC probably should have been in that game anyway. USC went to the Rose Bowl and played Michigan, and won their game. AP voted them the national champs. The BCS computers voted LSU. So it's considered officially a split championship. It is, by the way, the last split championship. There hasn't been one since. And then, of course, the year after that, they destroyed Oklahoma in the BCS title game.
We just have about a minute. Last question. When you saw him this year on the sidelines in Las Vegas, there was no mitigation to the unmitigated disaster. The worst team in the NFL. Obviously, that's not going to kill off his legacy. But did you feel sorry for him, or did you think you knew what you were getting yourself into, or what did you think?
I mean, he knew, right? He wanted one more shot at glory, and he took over a team that had, arguably had the least amount of talent.
Two players.
Any team in the NFL. Brock Bowers and Max Crosby.
Yep.
That's it. And then brought in a quarterback who's didn't play very well. It's a little bit sad for his just to end a career like that. I very strongly doubt that he'll get another job, but he might not even want another job now. But he had this sort of unfortunate historical accident of coming along at the same time as the quote unquote greatest NFL coach Bill Belichick and the quote unquote greatest college football coach Nick Saban. He's kind of stuck in between those guys, but you got to remember Carroll's one of only 3 guys to win a national title and a Super Bowl. And he came damn close to winning 3 national titles and 2 Super Bowls. So, he's certainly up there. I don't know if he's on the Mount, whatever the 4 on the Mount Rushmore, but he's certainly up there as a great coach of all time.
Pick up the book, out brand new today from Grand Central Publishing, Men of Troy, The Epic Afternoons, Wild Nights, and Enduring Legacy of Pete Carroll's USC Trojans, by our guest, Monte Burke. Monte, good stuff, man. Congrats. Let's catch up on your next one.
All right, great. Good talking to you. Thank you.
All right, I'm Rick Tittle. Come on back on Sports Byline.
Okay, let's have a little fun. Do you use the expensive blue pill to perform better? Are you thinking about it? So what if we can promise you results for less than $1 a pill? Okay, so these same pills can cost you $30 or more at a pharmacy. And our better blue pill works for less than $1 a pill. You'll save $29 or more per pill. And right now, we'll give you 120 blue pills for just $99. Have a little fun and call right now. Get 120 of better blue pills for just $99. Don't overpay for the other blue pills. Call Steel Man Pills right now and get the better blue pill for less than $1 a pill. Call 1-800-BUY-BLUE, 1-800-BUY-BLUE. It's easy to remember. 1-800-BUY-BLUE. That's 1-800-BUY-BLUE. And thanks for calling.
Keep for details on how to get up to $300 airline credit. Sky Holidays introduces a one-of-a-kind air credit program. Our buying team got a little too aggressive in getting hotel and air deals, so now we have to liquidate our prices. Here's how. Whether you want to go to Paris, Las Vegas, London, Atlanta, Hawaii, or anywhere else in the world, we have amazing deals. Book a selected hotel and we'll give you up to $300 airline credit. Now you can book your vacation and get a free credit to use towards airline travel. Both airline and hotel with one simple phone call. We have access to most airlines and deals on thousands and thousands of places to stay. Call right now, book your hotel rooms, claim your airline credit. You can change or modify it at any time. 800-256-4816. 800-256-4816. That's 800-256-4816.
It's more than a rebellion. When your teen is slipping into drugs or alcohol, when social media and pornography consume their time and their mind, when depression and even suicidal thoughts cast a shadow over your home, as a parent, you feel powerless. There is hope. At Turnabout Ranch, troubled teens step away from the chaos and into a clarity of nature on a working cattle ranch. care for horses, learn responsibility, build trust, and rediscover purpose. It isn't theory, it's real work, real therapy, real healing. Families from across the country have found transformation right here, just when they thought hope was gone. If your teen is struggling with addiction, harmful online behaviors, even weight management, call right now and get the help you all need.
800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. That's 800-219-2494.
This is special too. See, look, see, still got the old tagger on it. See, never even played it. See?
You just bought it?
Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
I wasn't going to touch it.
No, don't touch it.
I was just pointing at it.
Well, don't point even.
Don't even point?
No, it can't be played. Never. I mean,
Can I look at it?
No, you've seen
Don't
enough
look
of
at
that one.
I'm so disgusted by Rick Tittle that I find him very intoxicating.
Jeff Passan of ESPN tweeted out that the Giants are aggressively pursuing Nico Horner and Brendan Donovan. Brendan Donovan, by the way, born in Würzburg, probably at an air base. He's going to turn 29, as will Nico Horner. Neither one of those guys are home run hitters. The most Horner's ever hit is 10, and same with Donovan. I like Horner because he's born and raised in Oakland. He's a lifelong A's fan. He's a Bay Area guy. He went to Stanford. He was a first-round pick of the Cubs. And the guy just rakes. He's like a 300 hitter. That's what he does. Dom, I'll ask you real quick. Would you trade Bryce Eldridge for Nico Horner?
Absolutely not.
All right, there it is. If they want to, what they want to do is they want to have Chapman, Adames, Horner, and Devers, and then let Eldridge be the DH. I guess that would be actually the real plan would be if Devers could just DH, but I don't think Eldridge can handle first. We'll see about it. I'm Rick Tittle. Hot stove. Come on back.
I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning. One of the more prolific lives I've lived has been around the pro wrestling business, where I've met a lot of people who will swear to you that everything in sports is rigged, or in wrestling parlance, a work. But as crazy as those people sound sometimes, and they do, when you have a slate of playoff games like this past weekend, sometimes even the rational mind can wonder how the pencils at 345 Park Avenue planned it. Saturday's games kicked the card off hot. The Los Angeles Rams knocked off Carolina, which featured as good of a high-spot-laden fourth-quarter finish as you could ask for. Back-and-forth scoring with lead changes and a lot of heart shown by the Panthers and quarterback Bryce Young before they ultimately ran out of both time and magic. And if you don't prefer that style and would rather a miraculous comeback, there was the Chicago Bears' 18-point rally to upend the Green Bay Packers, which caused 102-year-old Soldier Field to quake. Sunday started off just as good, with Josh Allen and Buffalo also surviving a team with a lot of heart in the Jacksonville Jaguars, getting the Bills their first playoff road win in 33 years. The Philadelphia Eagles stuck to the script of their season and saw offensive woes strike them down against San Francisco. The team could only score 3 points off Brock Purdy picks, punting away 3 more possessions in the second half before ultimately running out of downs to end their year. Then the New England Patriots dispatched the Los Angeles Chargers in a game which began the fourth quarter with 4 field goals scored. In pro wrestling carny terms, this was the popcorn match. Gotta bring it all down a bit, get everyone resettled in their seats, and allow for the main event to build properly. And Monday's main event of Houston and Pittsburgh was something akin to the Memphis territory in the 1980s, utilizing a concession stand brawl. A sloppy mess where glass mustard bottles were hurled and a lot of holes were seen in the offense attempted. C.J. Stroud shattered the record for fumbles in a postseason game with 5, losing 2 of them and adding an interception for good measure, and he won. It was an absolute mess, but also absolutely entertaining as the NFL can often be. It was a good show, powers that be. Good show. I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning.
Every champion has a team behind them. And for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Getting together with friends to watch the game? Then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted and pure, this is the one thing all Americans can agree on. Founder Mark Gus Scott chose the finest natural elements America has to offer, and you'll taste how great it is to be an American. Now available at Bevmo, GoPuff, Hy-Vee, and Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly. Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
Rick Tittle knows his sports.
I hate that guy.
I love that guy. Oh my gosh, he's so fine. Rick Tittle brings home the bacon, fries it up in a pan, and then he eats it.
Ricky T in the hizzle for shizzle, biznatch.
Thank you for that, and welcome to the show. 1-800-878-PLAY, 1-800-878-7529. Come on and get heard. Coast to coast, border to border, and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. I saw the Olympic hockey jerseys. The countries have been revealing them the last few weeks. And USA's got the look. There's this weird sort of blue plastic grill on the neck. I don't know what that is, but it's got the old-time look, which is cool. Finland's is amazing. It's got a lion with a crown and a sword, and the sword arm has armor on it. Sweden, as usual, has the three crowns, navy on yellow. I love the Czech Republic. It's getting medieval on yo ass with a shield divided by four, two lions, two eagles. The two eagles are different. One of them has the familiar red and white checks. Italy's is stupid, and so is Germany's. Italy's is more stupid, but it was like they were designed by Blades of Steel, the video game. Because, by the way, they're all Nikes, and I don't know what the plastic like grill is on the neck. It's hard to explain. It's right where it comes to a V-neck. It looks like it's sort of like for sweat to come through or something. But Slovakia as well has a cool one. It's got the double cross as well, which I think is pretty cool. Dominic told me that Tomlin and the Steelers are parting ways. Wow. Well, it's not too surprising. But I would like to fly him on my private jet to Las Vegas. I don't have a private jet, but maybe I can arrange one. The Steelers and Baltimore are getting rid of coaches that have been there nearly 2 decades. And I think it's going to come back to bottom in the ass. Come on back.
I'm holding in my hand the American Silver Eagle dollar. It's a beautiful piece of American history, and it's 1 ounce of silver. Originally minted in 1986, these coins are a beautiful classic piece of American history, and they're a great investment you should add to your portfolio. The beauty of silver is that however much you have available to invest, silver is affordable and easy to acquire, with one coin costing around $30. So, if you choose to invest a few thousand in silver, you can get quite a bit for your money. And you'll have a tangible asset that you can hold, one you can be proud to own. Claim your piece of American history with American Silver Eagle dollars. Call the Silver Hotline right now.
800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. That's 800-620-1624. Hey, airline travelers, let's say you have a problem and you need to change or cancel an existing airline reservation. What do? Well, Skywatch is a free service that can help anyone with any airline reservation fix it. Whether you want to cancel it, change your dates, or add passengers, we can help fix your airline reservations so you get exactly what you need. We've updated our computer database and now have access to every airline around the globe. So now you can make one phone call regardless of who booked your airline tickets, and we'll change it, cancel it, and fix it for you. We know the insider secrets to fixing reservations that the airlines don't want you to know about. So if you need to cancel, change, or modify an existing airline reservation, call Skywatch right now. It's a free call, so let us fix it for you. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. That's 855-325-5647. Do you have a book? Get it out of your mind and make it a real book with a free guide to book publishing. Trying to publish a book yourself can be complicated. It takes a lot of time that you could spend writing your book or even more books. Do what you do best. We can do the rest. Thousands of authors across the nation have trusted our book publishing service. We have the connections to help you get your book printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, and bookstores nationwide. We can do it faster than you can on your own. Get your free guide to publishing. It's a free phone call. Remember, make this free call right now and learn how to turn your book into something real that people can buy. Get your free writer's guide. Call right now, 800-482-8399, 800-482-8399, 800-482-8399. That's 800-482-8399.
Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle is a genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful, genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful. Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle he's so handsome, he's a genius.
I am so excited to be back on the Rick Tittle Show.
Thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. And we have open lines coming up at 11:40 Pacific. Keith St. John will join us, talking about Ronnie Montrose and a 10th anniversary concert for him. A very, let's just say it's an interesting rocker back in the day, and a guy who discovered a San Francisco guy who there was another singer bouncing around San Francisco by the name of Sammy Hagar, and they ended up joining forces. All right, Mike Tomlin has stepped down. That's all we have from Adam Schefter. He has stepped down. So we'll see what happens with that. It'd be hilarious if John Harbaugh went to Pittsburgh and Mike Tomlin went to Baltimore. After Wild Card Weekend, the odds have reset on the superb Owl, 60. The Seahawks are the favorite, and the Niners are the least favorite, and the Niners go to Seattle. Seattle, just less than 2 weeks ago, came down to the Bay Area and annihilated San Francisco's offense and made them look very pedestrian. The Seahawks are the favorites, then the Rams, then the Patriots, Bills, Broncos, Texans, Bears. That's got to frost the Broncos that they are below the Bills, who they are hosting this as well. But the Patriots were indeed favorite to beat the Chargers, but not many expected the Patriots' defense to step out and to make Justin Herbert look like he was nothing. 6 sacks, no touchdown passes, and the Chargers scored just 3 points. And this was pretty notable because the Patriots entered the postseason having played the easiest strength of schedule this millennium. What? The 1999 Rams were the only team that had played Hiccup an easier schedule. All right, we do have J.D. Sharp with us from Pro Wagering. They have the insights to a better chance at winning at a sports bet, the experience as well. JD, Mike Tomlin, apparently, according to Adam Schefter, has stepped down, whether it's mutual or whatever. I kind of see the writing on the wall. Your thoughts about Tomlin no longer in Steel Town?
Why is the writing on the wall? That makes no sense. I agree with Aaron Rodgers. That's insane. Tomlin's been nothing but successful for that franchise. They had a bad team this year. They had injuries all year long. They did, but I mean, DK Metcalf. I mean, no running back at all. I mean, like the D underperformed. I mean, to me, it's more of a GM thing than a Tomlin thing. I think they may have added players that just didn't do what they thought that they would do. I think some of the trades that were made did not work out the way that they anticipated them to. Pickens obviously worked out for the Cowboys more than Metcalf did for the Steelers. Don't think that's Tomlin's fault. I think Tomlin's a great coach, probably a top 10 coach. I think he's going to do really well wherever he's up next. So, big mistake by Pittsburgh, to be honest with you.
I love Mike Tomlin, and I couldn't agree with you more. It's just a fan base that watches them lose 9 years in the first round, and they has to go. But if you're a Raider fan, you would dream about going to the playoffs. those 9 years. So it's just a perspective. And I think just like in Baltimore with John Harbaugh, those fans, your team is now out in the wilderness with the likes of sucky teams like my Raiders. And so be careful what you wish for when you get rid of a highly successful coach.
Exactly. And the NFL is really hard. I mean, the talent in this league is crazy. It's getting better and better. The rules are changing constantly. It's not just a coach. I mean, you got coordinators. You have one good year with a coordinator. They're the head coach of a team next year. One really good position coach can do really well, and he's the head coach the next year, like Joe Brady. Yeah, it's just it's a different game. It's a different game I think they're used to at this point. And yeah, I'm shocked at all if the Steelers had some tough times coming up, and that's totally unnecessary because Tomlin is a good coach. Everyone knows he's a good coach. He's a player's coach, and I got to respect Rodgers for sticking up for him too.
Seattle is now the favorite to win the whole thing, and of the 8 remaining teams, San Francisco has the lowest odds. So you would think that would be the easiest game to prognosticate on Saturday night in Seattle, and especially after just a couple weeks ago, Seattle shut down the Niners completely in their own building. But when you play a team 3 times a year, I don't know, if you're a Niner fan, can you have any hope in this game?
I don't think so. Kittle's out. Seattle's not perceived as like a really good team like the Eagles are. People are going to think that Purdy's going to pull it out against the Seahawks. He's good. They've been good all year long. I told that to you. They picked up Rashid Shaheed offensively. They got Walker. They got Charbonnet. Darnold's playing well. They've got a good offensive line. They've obviously got A.J. Bronner, who stepped up a little bit. Cooper Kupp, Smith-Jigba. I think that they're just kind of outmatched in this game. The Niners going to have a hard time scoring points, especially with Tittle. Reek Woolen, Witherspoon, Nick Amanwari, who's played really well out of South Carolina, that just freak of an athlete from South Carolina as well. Yeah, I think this is going to be a game that the Niners going to have a really hard time winning. Really hard time. Are they going to cover the spread? Maybe, but they're not going to win the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, 7.5. You know, speaking of the other game on Saturday, the Broncos, the team that got a bye, they're a home dog. They are getting 1.5 against Buffalo. Thoughts?
Sorry, who's facing the Broncos? Bills?
The Bills are favored by 1.5 on the road.
I think so. They're just better. I mean, the Josh Allen, I think this might be the year. Everyone's like, oh, if he doesn't win, he's not that good. I heard you talking about the Patriots having an easy schedule. I think the Broncos had a pretty easy schedule themselves, especially with the Chiefs being bad this year. I'm not sure how good the Broncos actually are. The Bills are actually really good against the pass. Really good against the pass. The Broncos, they're going to need they need to pass the ball to win the game. They get Ed Oliver back as well. That could be very helpful against the run. The Bills are actually structured pretty well to make the Super Bowl this year, especially. Now, can they get past the Texans is the question, and I'm not sure if that's the case. But, yeah, I think they probably win this game against the Broncos. Just the things the Broncos do well, the Bills are good as well. They defend them well offensively, and I think the Bills have enough with Kincaid and Knox and Josh Allen and James Cook, who actually had 1,600 yards this year, by the way, very quietly, or 1,500 yards this year. I think the Bills probably win that game.
All right, and we can get to the Sunday games later, but we'll end with this. If you are an NFL team, and I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to want to play, but let's say Aaron Rodgers calls you up and you don't have a quarterback, are you taking the call?
Yeah, I think Rodgers is going to keep playing. I don't think he's going to stop. He had a very good season. He was 24-7, and they didn't really have. Again, they didn't have much offensively. They didn't have much. Freiermuth he didn't play that well. Washington's been a disappointment. Besides Metcalf, who they have? Calvin Austin? No, Jalen Warren? No. I think the right team calls Rodgers. He's going to take a call and he's going to play. I mean, Rivers could do it. I think Brady can still play, honestly. And a lot of these younger quarterbacks, they just don't understand the position. You can tell. Or they have a couple of good games and then they get figured out, like Jaden Daniels. We talked about this last year, Rick. Everyone was so excited about Daniels. I said, Daniels is 25. He went to three schools as a transfer. He's effectively a third-year player. And they're going to figure him out. And he's razor thin. You know, he's going to get hurt at some point. Same with Lamar Jackson. So I think there's always going to be a place in the NFL for a quarterback who is mobile enough, not really mobile with Rodgers being 42, but still has the arm that still can make plays and can read defenses and can throw the ball 55 yards, which Rodgers can still do. So, yeah, I think he could play until he's 44. Wouldn't be shocked at all because he looked good in especially towards the end of the season in the regular season. But again, he faced a completely dominant defense last night with a bad O-line. What do you expect? You know, that was terrible. It's destruction. And Metcalf doesn't get open. He's just a big brute. You know, there's a reason why he was drafted so late because he had like a 4.5 shuttle or something, which is all about agility. Did he run fast in the 40? Yeah. Can he jump high? Sure. But these corners now have these long arms. They all run 4.4s. They can all bench 15 reps on 225. They got this wiry strength, and they like to call offensive pass interference as well now. So, yeah, I think that Rodgers on a team with like some pretty talent can do very well.
There is J.D. Sharp breaking it down from Pro Wagering. Thanks for your time, bud.
I appreciate it, Rick.
All right, I'm Rick Tittle. We have open lines. Come on back.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer. And we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case. And they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. That's 800-401-5163. Do you hear that? That's the sound of uncertainty lurking under your hood. You know the feeling. I know I do. That sudden sinking sensation when you see a check engine light or your car unexpectedly breaks down and you're faced with sky-high repair bills. It's time to shield against unexpected repairs with CarShield. CarShield is America's most trusted auto protection company and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Don't let the fear of a breakdown keep you up at night. Trust the Shield, CarShield, and say goodbye to terrifying repair bills and hello to peace of mind. Your plan also comes with 24/7 roadside assistance, courtesy towing, rental car options, and so much more. Don't wait till it's too late. Call CarShield now before a breakdown. Protect your wallet. Protect your car with CarShield. Get our best protection ever. Call now. You'll thank me later. 800-247-6135. 800-247-6135. That's 800-247-6135.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. That's 800-915-9654.
To me, it's like a mountain, a vast bowl of pus.
cares about anything else when you've got Rick Tittle on the radio?
Oh, I know. Lines are open. 1-800-878-PLAY. Coming up, St. John. That's a rock and roll name. We'll talk about Montrose, the show they got. This is from Art Rooney, the second Steelers president. Quote, during our meeting today, Coach Tomlin informed me that he has decided to step down as our head coach. Obviously, I am extremely grateful to Mike for all the hard work, dedication, and success we have shared over the last 19 years. It is hard for me to put into words the level of respect and appreciation I have for Coach Tomlin. He guided the franchise to our 6th Super Bowl championship and made the playoffs 13 times in his tenure, including winning the AFC North 8 times in his career. His track record of never having a losing season in 19 years will likely never be duplicated. My family and I and everyone connected to the Steelers management are forever grateful for the passion and dedication Mike Tomlin has devoted to Steelers football. So there it is. He's out. Also this morning, a guy that Jim Harbaugh has worked with many times is fired, and that is the Chargers offensive coordinator, Greg Roman, who a lot of Niner fans blame for losing the Super Bowl. What were they, on the 8-yard line with Kaepernick, and they called a fade or whatever it was?
I believe it was 3 consecutive fades.
Sorry to laugh. Enough time has gone by, I hope that I can laugh.
With Frank Gore at running back, mind you.
Oh, my gosh. All right, so the Chargers also fired their O-line coach, Mike Devlin. But Roman, 53, Jim Harbaugh immediately brought him in when he came over from Michigan. The Chargers last season were 11th in scoring. This season they were just 20th. And injuries, of course, added into it. And the unit suffered not just running backs and tackles, but there were 32 offensive line changes. Yeah, so fire the coach. But whoever the Chargers hire next will be Justin Herbert's 5th offensive coordinator in 6 years. And Herbert's regular season numbers are great, but he's never won a playoff game. He's 0-3, 2 touchdown passes and 4 picks in those games. Everyone is basically saying that Mike McDaniel will be Jim Harbaugh's play caller for San Diego, for the Los Angeles Chargers. What am I, Lance Allworth? So there are a lot of people who talk about, who's a good fit, who's not a good fit, one way or the other. So many times you think, well, we need an offensive coach, we need a defensive coach. And it only makes sense after it makes sense. You know what I mean? It's the kind of thing where, say, oh, well, Bill Walsh was perfect for Joe Montana. He didn't even want Joe Montana. He wanted Phil Simms. Giants drafted him first. And you go, oh, what a perfect match. Yeah, it ended up that way. And Belichick, oh, what are those great defenses? What are the Patriots known for? They're known for Tom Brady. Did Bill Belichick ever call a play? No, it was McDaniels and O'Brien and Weiss and everybody else that's been an OC there. So I heard Kyle Shanahan yesterday talking about how Robert Saleh will be a head coach again. And the amazing job he did this year with that banged-up defense. Like I said, there was a guy named Wallow that was playing yesterday, and I don't think even Niner fans knew who he was. No, as they wallow in misery. I don't think, the interesting thing is that maybe Saleh can be picky about it. And the rumor now is that Arizona, who's supposed to move on from Kyler Murray, they have the number 3 overall pick in the draft. They have some intriguing weapons in Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr., but they have requested an interview with Saleh, and the Cardinals allowed 29 points a game, which is the bottom part. If Mike McDaniel does get a head job, apparently the Falcons have asked to interview with him. And you think about who can come in and who can get the most out of Bijan Robinson, and also once Michael Penix is back from his ACL, can they get something out of him? Because Mike McDaniel definitely revitalized Tua Tagovailoa. As I know, it's not a silent end, it's a invisible end. But there is some familiarity because Matty Ice, is now the president of football, and McDaniel was on the staff of the Falcons 10 years ago when Kyle Shanahan was there. Remember that staff, the offensive staff for Washington, when Mike Shanahan was head coach, Kyle was the OC, and you had Sean McVay, and you had Mike McDaniel, and you had one other head coach, Schmuck, in there. They were just loaded with coaches. I know a lot of people have talked to me as a Raider fan about bringing in Cliff Kingsbury. I think Kingsbury would be a interesting offensive coordinator. I don't want him as a head coach. Wherever he has gone as a head coach in college and pro, lost. Just drink that in for a second. As a head coach, he's done nothing but lose in college and the pros. So why would I be excited about him? The are leaning towards Jim Schwartz. Jim Schwartz was head coach of the Lions for, 4 or 5 years. That's another guy that I wouldn't give him a second chance. I would definitely hire him as a coordinator. But this Clint Kubiak thing, I call me crazy, but I think you have to be able to be a Mac and have that je ne sais quoi. Because there's no doubt that Mike McDaniel's a nerd, right? I think he tried playing football in the Ivy League. Didn't really work out for him, but he's a bright guy, but he's cool. He can relate to people. People respect him, I think. But you look at a guy like Mike Shula. Remember the linebacker that patted him on his head like, okay, little guy, don't get mad at me. What did Clint Kubiak ever do except be his father's son, right? And you look at the offense in Seattle and you're like, oh, wow, that'll happen here. Will it? Well, somebody has to work with Fernando Mendoza. Somebody has to get something out of Allen, who almost won a Heisman at Boise State. And Brock is the greatest tight end prospect ever, and $100 million in cap space. Would you hand everything over to him? I know that I wouldn't want somebody who doesn't know how to coach quarterbacks, but I also know that the Raiders have asked to interview Jesse Minter. He's the Chargers' defensive coordinator. And apparently that's who the Dolphins want, is that Stephen Ross knows Minter and that he'd like to bring him in. So that leaves the Giants with John Harbaugh. And why would he want that job? Because it's New York. Why wouldn't you want the job? And you got Jackson Dart, you got Malik Neighbors, Cam Scatteraboo, Brian Burrs, Abdul Carter, Dexter Lawrence. You have some talent there. Kevin Stefanski, who's my favorite guy. If all the names out there, that's who I would like for the Raiders. You see what he got out of Baker Mayfield. You see what he got out, well, maybe I shouldn't bring that up, but still 2-time coach of the year. But they want him in Tennessee with Cam Ward. So, and then there's names of guys that I didn't even mention, but I would take Stefanski, who has proven he can do it, and you'll give him a good young quarterback, a good young tight end, and a good young tailback. Now, how about who's going to block for those guys? That's the other thing. I just think when you're a little guy and you never did anything and you look like a stupid nerd, I just don't know how it translates. But maybe I'm being the nerd. Come on back.
Have you suffered sports betting losses? There is someone who wants to fight for you to see you get back what you have lost to those sports betting companies. Michael Watts is a prolific trial lawyer with over $11 billion in total recoveries for his clients. And now with sportsbettingclaim.com, he'd like to help you. Michael has been a leader in some of the largest and most complex cases in the country, from defective cars and tires to damaging drugs and medical products. He has always represented the rights of individuals, and large corporations. His efforts recently resulted in the recovery of billions for individuals who lost their properties to fires carelessly caused by electric companies and others. Michael knows that sports betting companies preyed on and manipulated consumers into losing their life savings, and he wants to make them pay. If you have suffered financial hardship as a result of online sports betting and would like help seeking compensation, please submit your claim information for evaluation at sportsbettingclaim.com. Michael Watts is focused on winning for you. sportsbetting.com.
I am an American veteran. I'm proud to have served this country. Helping veterans is something all Americans can participate in, and it's as simple as donating an old car that you have sitting around. When you call the Veteran Car Donation Program, they'll explain how their program works, and then arrange a time they can come and pick up your vehicle for free. Running or not, it doesn't matter. They take cars, trucks, motorcycles, or vans. Show your support by donating your car and get a tax deduction in the process. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program right now. They'll come and pick your car up and you'll get a tax deduction in the process. Call the number we're about to give you right now. Thank you, and God bless America.
800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. That's 800-887-1097. Do you need to sell your home? If you've sold a home before, you remember how stressful and expensive it was. Sold.com is here to help you sell your home for the most money and with the least amount of stress. There are new ways to sell your home that you've never heard of before. Did you know there are companies who will offer you cash for your home? Did you know you could trade in your home for a new one? Did you know there are realtors who will sell your home for a flat fee instead of an expensive commission? It's true. Sold.com services are free. So if you're looking to sell, make this free phone call right now and learn how your next home sale can be faster and easier than you ever thought possible. Pick up your cell phone and call right now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
Look at me. Look at me. Don't look at anybody else. Don't look at the fat-ass losers or freaks. You look at me!
Rick Tittle will fight anyone listening to this.
All right. Thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. 1-800-878-PLAY. 1-800-878-7529. Get in and get. We are here for you. Waiting on our guests, and get them. We will throw them on the air. It's a very interesting situation with Brooks Koepka coming back to the PGA Tour and all that that goes with it, and how punitive it is. He's back immediately after leaving for leave. He must personally pay $5 million to charity. He will be unable to access as 50 to 85 million in potential earnings through various penalty stipulations, which are mapped out. Now, considering that he, in his 3.5 years with LIV, got 165 million, this still is an amazing profit for him. He made out very well. But what about his legacy? Your legacy is when you're dead. You don't know if people are talking smack about you you or bowing down or not thinking about you at all. Probably the latter. But he said about all this, quote, there was no negotiating. It's meant to hurt. It does hurt. But I understand. It's not supposed to be an easy path. I've got a lot of work to do with some of the players. There's definitely guys who are happy and definitely guys who will be angry. If anyone is upset, I need to rebuild those relationships. The new PGA Tour CEO, Brian Rolap, has created this returning member program, which is designed to lure 3 other guys, John Rahm, Bryson DeChambeau, and Cam Smith, to come back with Koepka. He has, Rolap says you have until February 2nd to decide. The prodigals. Isn't that interesting, though? We'll have you back, but with big penalties, but we will have you back. But you got to do it now, otherwise forget it. And a lot of people see the snub towards lefty, Mr. Phil Mickelson, because the returning member program eligibility is limited to players who have been away for at least 2 years and have won the Players' Championship, Masters Tournament, PGA Championship, U.S. Open, or the Open Championship between 2022 and 2025. So that means eligible would be winners like Johnson and Reed and Mickelson, whose last PGA Championship was 2021. So that the cutoff is 2022 seems oddly specific. Does it not? that they don't want them involved. But this still is good. It's a mechanism to repair things. And he got his money. Even if he misses out on $85 million, he still, has another $80 million. $80 million that he got from Liv. So Koepka left Liv Golf just before Christmas. He just said, I want to see my family. And then apparently a league statement primarily boasted that Taylor Gooch's impending captaincy of Smash GC. Does anybody know the Liv Golf teams? Dom, do you know off the top of your head all the names of the teams?
I don't know the name of one of them.
Thank you. And he likes golf. That's my whole point. And this is why Koepka's back. Because you're making a lot of money in a vacuum. No one cares. No one's watching. And at first it's like, who cares? I'm printing money. Look, I just won this tournament that no one watched. Then I'm rich. And then you see people putting on jackets and crowds nuts. You're like, it looks cool over there. I kind of liked it over there. So the PGA Tour responded to Koepka coming back and said, quote, he's a highly accomplished professional, and the tour continues to offer the best professional golfers the most competitive, challenging, and also lucrative environment in which to pursue greatness. Well, I don't know about lucrative. But apparently these internal conversations were held. I mentioned the new tour CEO, Rolap. He met with Koepka on multiple occasions, lots of meetings. Pathway was just concocted out of thin air. And they needed a majority approval. And yesterday they got it. And all of this transpired from Christmas in 3 weeks. So now the PGA Tour opened this pathway. It has delivered a hammer blow to Liv. Because this could be as far as Liv, this is a knife in the back. But they went in and poached him, the kid out of Florida. But the tournament's not going to fold because they said, what now what do they do? What does they do now that DeChambeau, Rahm, and Cameron Smith are all ready to come back. I shouldn't say ready. The PGA is ready to receive them back with punitive measures. I think what you do is you tell, like Bryson DeChambeau, remember how we gave you $500 million just to show up? Yes. What about these 3 islands and 2 aircraft carriers and a jumbo jet? We buy those for you too? I can already buy those. Aha. And that's it. PGA offers something that money can't buy. That is legitimacy. I could go to the Saudi Football League and win a Super Bowl and get paid $1 billion. Will anybody watch or care? Hell no. And so at first, it would probably feel pretty good. I am making so much money, I can't even see straight. So DeChambeau is up for negotiations, and we'll see if he'll become the richest golfer ever to walk on the planet. All right, Rick Tittle with you, coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Network. We have found our guest. It is Keith St. John. Is here to promote Ronnie Montrose Remembered NAMM 2026 10-year anniversary All-Star Memorial Concert. This will be at the Grand Theater in Anaheim on Saturday, January 24th at 7:30 p.m. Keith, welcome to the show. And I'm just looking at the list. You have a lot of heavy hitters, to say the least, in this concert.
Yeah, Rick. Well, hey, anyway, thanks for having me, brother. Yeah, we got a lot of heavy hitters this year. It's the 10-year anniversary, and it's we've been doing this for a little while. Some guys are back that played on the first year, and that's almost kind of a cool reunion for about a half a dozen guys. I can run through some of the members that are coming if you think that's a good idea.
Well, I mean, the list goes on. I mean, it's just, yeah, we can, it would take the rest of the interview, but I just want to mention, for people who don't know Montrose, before, when he was a session guitarist, I mean, you could say he was the greatest ever in rock history, because I think about Frankenstein, Dream, I mean, it just goes on and on, all the session work that he did that I think a lot of people don't even know he did it.
They don't. Ronnie's kind of almost like the American Jeff Beck in a way. No disrespect to anybody, but Jeff is so revered by guitar players all over the world. Almost every guitar player at some point in the rock or blues is a big Beck fan. And I think Ronnie's thing, is the same kind of amongst guitar players. So, some of these guys like, just a couple, Brad Gillis, Doug Aldridge, Sylvie Clark. I mean, these guys grew up on music. They had the records in their teens, and so Ron, I think that's why so many folks come down and have so much fun playing this stuff.
Well, I know Eddie Van Halen talked about Montrose was one of his guiding lights as a young kid, and a lot of people don't know. I mean, there's a San Francisco guy and another San Francisco guy, Sammy Hagar, they joined up. They put out a great album. The second one, they kind of start fighting, and then Ronnie fires Hagar in Berlin, and it all went down the tubes, right?
Yeah, I know, and it was an odd case because Ronnie's really he's very detailed and specific, and he kind of he really kind of knows what he wants, and he wanted to guide, I think, a lot of things on his own back then. But then you got Sammy, who is such a creative driving force. I mean, Sammy wrote a lot of songs out, for people other than himself, and had hits over the years. Like Rick Springfield, and I don't know, it goes on, man. I mean, he's a great writer, and he's a great creative force. And I think maybe that was just part of the rub. And then when Ronnie was kind of done with that version of Montrose, he just moved on to a different sound and a different thing altogether, and kind of didn't really come back to those two albums, or at least putting a band together that sounded like that again until about 1999, which is when I met him, and he finally decided he wanted to do another Montrose. And those guys only, they only lasted to some point in the 70s. By the late 70s, Ronnie was doing a more fusion type of band called Gamma, which some people out there know about. Great band too in its own right, but mostly what we hit at this event, Ronnie Montrose Remembered, this January 24th, is from the first two records, which is like a lot of meat and potatoes of what he's known for in the general rock community and the public.
Everybody check it out online, RonnieMontroseRemembered.com. As I mentioned, the Grand Theater in Anaheim, Saturday, January 24th, the 10-year anniversary show, the NAMM Jam. We've been speaking with Keith St. John. Keith, have fun down there, man. It sounds like a blast.
Hey, it's going to be a blast, man. Just real quick, we got members of Guns N' Roses, Night Ranger, Whitesnake, a few guys from Whitesnake, REO, Slaughter, Trans-Siberian Orchestra guy, Quiet Riot, Lynch Mob, Dokken, and a bunch of people that play with Ronnie and Montrose. I've got members of Mr. Big, Billy Sheehan's coming down this year, so just a real quickie on that, and lots and lots and lots more. Dave Ellison, Megadeth, a couple guys from Y&T, so I won't take up all our time just naming names, but just to just to illustrate how many people from different pretty huge bands are coming down to celebrate Ronnie. So we'd like to see you there if you want to come down.
Rocking with Doc and Keith St. John. Thanks, man. We'll see you down there.
Rick, thanks a million, man. Always good talking to you.
All right, good stuff. I'm Rick Tittle. Come on back.
Okay, let's have a little fun. Do you use the expensive blue pill to perform better? Are you thinking about it? So what if we can promise you results for less than $1 a pill? Okay, so these same pills can cost you $30 or more at a pharmacy. And our Better Blue Pill works for less than $1 a pill. $29 or more per pill. And right now, we'll give you 120 blue pills for just $99. Have a little fun and call right now. Get 120 of our Better Blue Pills for just $99. Don't overpay for the other blue pills. Call Steel Man Pills right now and get the Better Blue Pill for less than $1 a pill. Call 1-800-BUY-BLUE, 1-800-BUY-BLUE. It's easy to remember. 1-800-BUY-BLUE. That's 1-800-BUY-BLUE. And thanks for calling.
Keep listening for details on how to get up to $300 airline credit. Sky Holidays introduces a one-of-a-kind air